Hello and welcome to another quick video, and today I wanted to go over the hotfix scheduled for December 20th, 2016. And normally I wouldn't cover a hotfix because it's just bug fixes, but this one actually changes how we play the game in some aspects. So let's go through the details. First off, Quick Play Escort Game Mode removed ammo that had been equipped to the Atlas VIP mech, and specifically they cite the random nature of ammo explosions influence the core objective of the game mode. And that's good. You don't want to have it so that, say, if you're defending, your opponents randomly get an ammo explosion and your AI mech just explodes, and you're like, well, what? We didn't have an opportunity to defend him. It was RNG and we lost because of it. And that sucks. So this is good. This is a good change. But it makes me wonder, why was there ammo in there in the first place? It felt like maybe that's something they should have caught beforehand and should have realized that that would have been an issue before putting the mech out there. Moving on to HUD Changes. They've deactivated a lot of the friendly mech icons with a toggle in the settings, I assume, and you'll be able to turn those off or turn them on depending on what you want. Now, this came in the last patch. It had a whole bunch of new indicators over both enemy and allied mechs, but it was probably a little bit too much when it was on your allied ones. It made it so that, the HUD was a little cluttered. Well, they're going to turn those off, and you'll be able to turn them on if you want them. But there's one problem here, and that's with UAVs. You're still going to need to aim at them or press Q, or at least that's the button I have affixed to it to bring up all the stats of everybody, bring up all their information. There's been a lot of friendly fire UAVs recently. I can't count the amount of times where I've been in a quick play match or a faction play match, and I run forward and put up a UAV, and one of my teammates shoots it down because they're like, whoa, there was a UAV, I shot it. That's great that they're looking for it, but they didn't press Q to see if it was an ally or an enemy because it doesn't show up. UAVs should always have their ally or enemy indicators over them. If it's enemy, don't have any indicators. You have to spot the UAV. But if it's allied, put a great big blue X over it. Don't frickin' shoot this, because I've had that happen to me more than I want to admit in the last few days. People are making mistakes because they can't see that designator. They can't see that it's an allied one. So that's the one change I would say to this. Put them back on UAVs. But moving on. Faction play groups. They fixed an issue where groups of 11 could not drop. That's a bug. That's great. Moving on. Faction play scouting. Clan drop decks reduced to 50 from 55. So this is the same thing as they're doing it with the clan and IS invasion drop decks, where the IS have an advantage. The clan have 240 tons, and the IS have 265 tons. They're doing the same thing in the scouting drop deck, allowing the clans to only take that 50-tonner, while the IS can take that 55-tonner, and they can hopefully make it a little more equal. But this isn't going to do much, really. It's not going to do hardly anything. I honestly haven't done a 55-tonner, which would basically be the Stormcrow. It's the only really valid, or only option at 55 tons, I believe, for clan mediums. I don't see a reason to take Stormcrows into scouting anymore. I think the Huntsmen and the Nova are more than enough, if not possibly better in certain situations, at taking down IS forces. I have a Nova with 10 small lasers that I go 1-2, 1-2 combos of 5, and I have a Huntsman with 4 Artemis 6 and 4 small pulse that likes to eat IS legs for all of its meals. Nothing's going to change. Clan is still going to dominate scouting because we don't need 55 tonners. If they really wanted to break the clan scouting meta, they'd have to change it to 45, in which case you would basically just eliminate most of our strong mechs. We'd be running down some Vipers and Ice Ferrets and stuff like that, but I don't know. It's not going to change anything. This is still going to be a massive clan advantage because we have amazing mechs at the 50-ton range. Moving down here, scouting intel values and conditions are being adjusted. The amount of intel in the scouting tug of war bar, basically the entire bar, how much it's worth, has been reduced down from 300 to 200. So it's a little bit less effort in order to get a full bar to get all of the planetary advantages. The planetary advantages are at the same positions, but they're just scaled appropriately. So it's not like they went further out or back in, it's proportional. Faction play invasion, really interesting here. The allotment of the 5 invasion stages along the invasion tug of war have been adjusted. All invasion stages are now evenly distributed along the tug of war. As a result, a larger portion of battles throughout the conflict will now take place in the 4 initial invasion stages. Basically, the skirmish, what was it? It was skirmish, domination, conquest, assault, in that order. You're going to see those game modes show up more often, and they have a picture of this down here. So instead of it being these game modes being a smaller portion, like the skirmish would sort of end here, and then conquest there, and then there, and then there, then you have a big chunk of invasion at the end. Invasion's getting smaller, and that is good. All I can say about that is great. The invasion game mode is very poor, in my opinion. It's probably the worst game mode in the entirety of the game. Really, I wouldn't mind if they just made Assault, specifically the new Assault when it comes out sometime hopefully this spring, the end game mode, and remove invasion. I would be okay with that. But as an added bonus to this, well, that's the end of the hotfix. There's actually a little update from the BattleTech game, and I'd like to start covering this game because I think it's going to be cool, and I'm going to get it when the open beta starts, and I can buy into that. But we're going to look down here, and they have been adding some melee, so you can see that this Atlas is punching the Kintaro and doing massive damage, and that is amazing. They've got all these different GIFs or GIFs, or however you pronounce that, of the mechs in melee combat. But as an added bonus, at the bottom of their thing here, I'm going to go faster, all their stuff, they have a premium tag code. So if you have a MechWarrior Online account, which I assume the majority of my viewers do, you come to here, you get the code MechWarrior Online Gift 2016, you copy that, you go to MechWarrior Mercs/profile/redeem, which I just have opened up here. You put in this code, and then you redeem. And I've already done this, so it's going to give me an error. You already have redeemed the code, but that's going to give you 3 days of premium time. Well, so if you're on your holidays over this winter season now, put in that code, get your 3 days of premium time, and grind your mechs up, and it's going to be great. But that is it for this little quick video going over these updates. Hope to see you again soon, and as always, good hunting.